This election had a lot of surprises, not just at the national level, but also here in the state of Michigan. What shocked you the most here in this state?
Well, I was totally surprised by the Supreme Court race. One could only, based upon the past and logic, expect that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Taylor, would have taken that, based upon his background, his long service, his position as Chief Judge, and based on the fact that he had the incumbency on the ballot, the incumbency listing. But I was astounded that he lost. The court itself began to take a very conservative and I felt inappropriate direction. I think another thing that is wrong in connection with the Supreme Court, we nominate, the political parties nominate candidates for the Supreme Court, and then we assume that they will run in a nonpartisan election. That's absolutely absurd. We need to do away with that system.
Governor, what are your thoughts as you watch the state of Michigan in terms of this economy, the auto industry, which you've spent so much time defending and protecting and working with? Will the state survive this?
It's going to be a very difficult struggle. I think a more serious and critical struggle than we have known in all of the time that I have served and had served in public office. But I have every expectation and hope that with the assistance now that we are seeing in the offing of the federal government to help the automobile industry get through this critical moment in its existence, I have great hopes that and expectations that that industry ultimately and finally will come around and be highly competitive across the globe. But it's a tough struggle ahead, and I know that, and I think we all know that in our state.
You're Michigan's longest serving governor. What do you think of the leadership of the current governor, Jennifer Granholm?
I recognize, first of all, that Governor Granholm has had a very difficult and challenging time of it in our state. She's had a legislature that has not always been cooperating with her, and I suppose it can be said that she has not always cooperated with the legislature. But I have a good deal of respect for Governor Granholm. I think she's a very bright and very articulate person. I think she's highly motivated. I think she's trying very hard to do a good job. But it hasn't been easy. It's not easy when you're dealing with a legislature that may not always be on your side, that may not always be willing to work with you. But I have a good deal of respect for her, and I wish her well. And I've maintained a fairly close relationship and contact with her.
Governor, many people believe America has become too partisan. If you agree with that, how do we create more bipartisanship in America and in the state of Michigan?
I think excessive partisanship in this country on the part both of Democrats and certainly in the course of this election just ended has been one of the major problems that we've confronted in the United States. We need desperately, I think, to assume a more nonpartisan stance on the part of candidates for elective office in each political party. And this last campaign is a perfect demonstration of how much can go wrong when we are overly partisan in terms of our candidates and the positions they've taken. I am highly encouraged by the statements that President-elect Obama has made in this connection. He's indicated that he intends to include in his administration, in his cabinet, in his important positions, administrative positions, not only Democrats, but Republicans and independents and nonpartisans. And I think that is a very healthy sign for the future of our country. And that needs to be applied as well in the state of Michigan. We saw a legislature and a governor who were constantly at odds in the last several years. And it was a playing of a partisan card that was unfortunate in terms of the welfare of the people of our state. And that should come to an end, and it should come to an end now. There is a place for partisan politics. That's the way we nominate men and women for political office. But there is also an important factor that we need to consider, and I think the people of this state have made it clear time and again that they are sick and tired of excessive partisanship, the backbiting that goes on at the expense of the public welfare, and that should stop.
A few years ago, I was on Mackinac Island when you spoke to the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce, and they gave you a standing ovation for your remarks. Much of it was talking about the need for us to become less partisan. Do you think people have taken your advice?
I see some encouraging signs in that direction, but I think we still have a long way to go. I think, if anything, the people in the course of this campaign have sent that message to their elected officials. And it is a hopeful sign, I believe, that some of those officials are repeating themselves the urgency of trying to deal with problems on their merits and not simply from the point of view of being a Democrat or a Republican. That's a hopeful sign for the future. And I'm encouraged, and I feel sanguine about it.
Coming up, the man who is often referred to as the Green Governor talks about our environment and whether or not we're doing a good job at protecting it. We'll be back with more of my exclusive interview right after this commercial break. We hope you stay with us. During your leadership years in the state of Michigan, you were coined the Green Governor. From where you sit today, how well are we protecting our environment here in America and in the state of Michigan?
Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. We still have a need to recognize in this country the fact that we, in fact, do have global warming. And that is one of the great challenges of our century. To deal with that, to do it courageously and effectively, and to do it quickly. And I think Senator Obama, now the president, understands that, and I think we can and will expect to see some real progress in that direction.
What do you think of the two proposals, Proposal 1 and Proposal 2, that just passed here in this state?
I was happy with both of them. I was strongly in support of each of them. I was surprised that we had an affirmative response on the part of the people of Michigan to each one of them. It was a great moment, in my opinion, in Michigan, that the people of Michigan had the foresight and the wisdom and the judgment to approve each of those ballot proposals.
When Spotlight returns, Governor Milliken talks about the tribute he'll receive this week in Livonia.